Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the next session, Eggs in the Basket, Risk Management Towards 2024. Find out what's next for brokers, how to prevent uncertainty, and prepare for a safe journey. Please welcome our moderator, David Hall, CEO of Tapaas, who will introduce his session.
Is it working? This is on Do Not Disturb, everybody, so please do the same. As you can tell, Andrea, who is she doesn't know this yet, but she's our COO now. I decided, I don't sleep much at night, and I just have these inspirations, and I get up and I'm just like, why isn't she the COO yet? Do you accept? Yeah. Can you just give an applause, please? Andrea's just become the COO of Tapaas, and she was the customer success manager. And I know this isn't supposed to be all about me, guys. So I'll shut up soon. And I always had a dream that one day I'd create a company that this brilliant engineer, like he had made this amazing algo trading engine for Salomon Brothers Australia. So we built our own software company, and it's called Tapaas. And we do risk management. I've done risk management, let's just say for 20 or 30 years. And so the quiz is, what type of risk? So you can imagine you have market risk, operational risk, credit risk, cyber risk, risky risk, lots of risk. What type of risk is putting all your eggs in one basket? Just, do you know? We'll start with you, because you look like you don't know.
Hello. I don't know. Probably existential risk.
Every risk could be existential. I forgot that one. And you want to give it a try?
I mean, risk overall, you cannot, from my understanding, you cannot put all risk in one basket. So you have to take a look at each aspect of risk individually and take a good look at it.
Insurance man.
Yeah. Is this on? Yeah. I would say since every risk has a potential impacting the reputation of a company, I would say reputational risk might be one. I would also be worried about the risks that there is no basket to put them in. So, but that's for later.
No basket for the eggs.
Yeah, no basket for the eggs.
Okay.
You just make an omelette.
Again? Well, it's taken ages to get to
Okay, the question is, the question is, what sort of risk? So imagine there's a bunch of categories of risk, like market risk, operational risk, reputational risk, regulatory risk, whatever. Lots of risk. What sort of risk is putting your eggs all in one basket?
You can hear me. I think that putting everything into one basket is relying upon yourself too much. I think that from a risk perspective, you need to be looking as wide as possible to understand, analyze what risks you have personally, but you need to take on a range of people's views and points. Don't put all the eggs in one basket and rely upon yourself in order to work out what your risks are and to solve them.
Okay. It's called concentration risk. And concentration risk is a big issue. Concentration risk is a type of credit risk. And it's when you put all your eggs in one basket, like what does it mean to a broker to put all your eggs in one basket? And it probably means something like you've done all your hedging at one LP. And you did all your hedging thinking that that's going to protect you from risk. Why do you hedge? You hedge because you've got exposure in one direction with your traders, and then you think, I'm going to hedge my risk so that I have tolerable or zero risk. And then what happens if you've only got one LP, which is all your eggs in one basket, and they go bust? Because some guy running the Swiss National Bank decides, like, I'm pretty sick of being pegged to the euro. And like, I'm tired of it, and I just decided that we're going to just let it fly because it put too much pressure on unemployment or whatever Switzerland was facing back then in January of 2015. And man, did that boom. Anybody who had I mean, I can't remember the name of the prime broker, but you know, people's hedge counterparties just disappeared like that. Goodbye. But the other thing that I saw in the beginning of this, the introduction here is, it said that the goal of risk management was to effectively eliminate risk. Like, you're dreaming. Like, somebody's dreaming, somebody's on acid. That's right. That is impossible. There's no such thing as eliminating the risk.
David, I wanted to add to what you said about concentration risk. Let's say you have only a handful of liquidity providers. You cannot really diversify that position. You don't have enough baskets to put your eggs. So in that case, and coming from an insurance background myself, one could look at another industry that might not be affected so much from a market event that might affect, liquidity providers or somebody or that kind of credit risk. And they can look into the insurance market, which is, a different industry. It has its own cyclicality, but it's not, it doesn't work in tandem with, that kind of industries such as liquidity providers. So you can offload that risk to the insurance market, and then perhaps you can mitigate. You cannot never eliminate risk, just like you said. You can mitigate it that way.
Okay, should we introduce ourselves? We can get
Yeah,
going?
that'd be good.
Okay. My name's David from Scale CRM. We have a booth downstairs, booth 34. For those that are able to arrange a meeting, we've got some beautiful hip flask here. We provide a CRM for brokers. It's an enterprise-grade CRM that's plug and play, integrated with the top-tier technical providers out there for marketing, KYC. We have integrated with certain of the solutions here. And we'd love to chat. We're on booth 34 downstairs. I think we'll give an opportunity for everybody to speak. I think we're running out of time a little bit, so pass it over, then we can...
30 minutes.
Over.
You can carry on next.
I'm Charalambos. I'm from Renaissance Insurance Brokers. We work with our clients to discuss and analyze operational risks and how they can be mitigated. And whatever's residual, on behalf of our clients, we go to the insurance market and place those risks, any type of risk that can be insured.
I was just going to ask, what type of risk can you, just some examples? I mean, you said any type, but...
Good question. Some examples, I would say, because this industry is heavily reliant on technology, you could look at technology risks, cyber risks, and of course, with the immense amount of personal data that companies hold on to, that's one type of risk. Professional error, because you might be giving advice or have systems that might suffer a breakdown and people lose their money out of that. And of course, investor compensation, which as an added bonus, it makes the clients feel safe that their funds are in a safer place in case a company goes bust.
Nice. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Valantis. I am with GBE Prime. My background is in wealth management and managing risk there, mostly on bonds. I entered this industry 10 years ago, and I actually like the title that it was chosen for this panel, because that's the main point of risk: diversify, diversify, diversify. And what David
As an
has
investment, yeah.
exactly, and not only as investment, David, what you touched on, placing all your hedges, and you're thinking you're mitigating risk by sending it to one LP, and especially during the Black Swan event, we saw that it's the A book that created the problems instead of the
exactly.
B book. Yeah. So everybody
You're
thought
never safe.
exactly. So never in one basket. That's the motto, let's say.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Timur Latypoff. I'm a director of Takeprofit Tech company, and we've been working for 10 years with hundreds of retail brokers. many of them bankrupt. Not because of us, because of the risk, right? A few of them are in jail, also not because of us, but there are quite a few risks that the brokers work with, and I'm familiar with, and yeah, so I got to know a few things about financial and other risks in the industry.
It's interesting. It's I mean, just to understand how diverse risk management is. I mean, when I first saw those different titles on the panel, and I just thought, what? I'm sorry, this is my opinion, by the way. My expectation of like what risk is more market risk, you know, like an insurance guy. Of course, insurance risk, yes, indeed. A CRM guy. Like, what are you doing here?
It's a very, very good. No, it's a good question. I mean, obviously, from a technology perspective, and I think everybody who's involved in the technology, there's obviously in the financial markets, uptime is critical. So, from a risk perspective, knowing that your system is operational at all times is key. That it meets the performance requirements is key. Understanding that you're interconnected with many other third parties, so having those integrations securely made is key. Obviously, and from a CRM perspective, obviously having the data on our side is obviously securing that is also key. So, from a technology perspective, risk, although it's not the traditional financial risk, there's key technology and operational risks that need to be considered. And really we see this from a technology perspective as a partnership. When you're working with a broker, it's key for the broker to understand these risks on their side, as well as the technology provider providing the solutions for them. But it really is, we see risk and security as a state of mind. That state of mind that you have is key to have across all the things that you do inside your business. So making sure your staff are trained about it, that it's on their mind at all times. That it's key actually talking about risk from a threat perspective, even teaching your families what risks are out there. My daughter received she's 18, she received an SMS that said you've received a package to the post office and you need to pay 10 shekel tax. So she clicked the link and put in her credit card details, and she learnt the lesson the hard way. Luckily, her credit card was empty, so no money was taken. But I suppose so security is a state of mind. So we're all very familiar with locking the house, locking your car, making sure that things, locking your windows. Really, there's a whole new world that although we're familiar with it from the past 10, 15 years, really, how do you secure your electronic, your cloud environment in a way whereby you can actually feel comfortable and sleep well at night, because it's a state of mind. It's something you need to be doing at all times, all throughout the day. So yeah, although we're not your traditional financial risk, from a technology perspective, we believe this is key. And as I said, this is a partnership between what a technology can provide you and actually what a technology provider should be educating you, so that you're considerate of those things and conscious of those things going forward. So,
yeah, I was just thinking that you could just as easily bankrupt your customer as their dealing desk.
Look, everybody in this industry, when you're partnering with a broker, we all have responsibilities. We have responsibilities to our client, to the brokers. We have responsibilities to the traders. So it's really, really important and obviously we've got people like insurance brokers that can back us up and give us a safety net. But the reality is we take...
Unless you do crime.
Unless you do, okay. Yeah, so obviously this is a partnership together. This is key for everybody to understand what's going on. It's key to have the education, and it's key that everybody takes it seriously.
Yeah, I was thinking here, I had a question about, what was it? You know, data privacy and you mentioned reputational risk? Like, you did. Yeah. Anyway, it's their reputational risk. I mean, if your CRM system, I mean, I think the most famous breach of identity loss was Equifax or something in the United States, and they lost something like 150 million customer data records, into the dark web. Thank you very much. All because everybody needs a credit check. They do credit checks on individuals. So anybody who wants to do any kind of financial transactions in the United States, like get a credit card or a mortgage loan, you're going to be in Equifax's database. And they went and let it, go into the dark web. Thank you. It's such incredibly, such incredible risk.
Can I, sorry,
Please.
can I add that no matter how much you think that you're, safeguarded by all the controls, all, systems you might have built a castle around your server, and whatever you do. I was at the other day at a client of ours who's a critical infrastructure, and they have, their risk management approach and their cybersecurity is state of the art. And we asked them, so do you feel that you've covered all your bases? And he said, no. You just
Makes
never.
everybody real comfortable.
No, you just never know what's brewing in, let's say, in your network or something. Some malicious SMS or email, somebody opened it and then it's dormant in your system, and a year later it locks everything and asks for, I don't know, 1 billion Bitcoin to release the system. So no matter what you do, there's always just that, in this digital world, there's always that chance, that small chance that something's wrong.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to ask a question. And this question is going to go to everybody. And the question is, in risk we think about threats and vulnerabilities. Threats and vulnerabilities. So you think about your business and all the platforms and infrastructures and office spaces and things like that, and there's vulnerabilities. And obviously there's threats, or we wouldn't be here. So what do you think, or in your experience, is the greatest vulnerability, in the domain that you serve, CRM, insurance? I guess that's the entire domain of the broker, right? But and as a broker, it's GBE, right? Yes. Yeah. Sorry, can I just interject for a second? So you said you were in wealth management, but GBE's, are you in risk management?
No, my background was wealth management. Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
all clear.
Yes.
All clear. So yeah, I'll begin with you.
Sure. I mean, there is a reason why there is expos like this, and to run a brokerage, we need all the services. So from CRM to bridge to insurance to tools, everything. Now, putting all these components together, there is risk in every single one of them. Of course, at the end, if you don't build the good foundation of all the little components, then you can never run the financial risk. If your systems are down, then you can do nothing. If SISEC comes in because of data protection on your CRM, you have a problem. With the investor compensation fund, you have a problem. On the other side, taking it a little bit to the financial part, to put some money on it, we have seen lately, so we call it the Forex industry, but I would like to say we became a more gold and indices industry lately with the volumes that we are seeing. And it's important also, just to touch on another subject, to have the people behind your company to understand the underlying securities behind each product that they're offering out there. Because we have, for example, now many challenges we're facing in the industry is that, oh, but I have so much volume, Yeah, but then you will run into the problems of managing these volumes. And concentration is a big issue in the industry now, and we have seen it with conversations we're having everywhere. So, yeah, again, diversify as much as you can.
You dodged the question.
No, I didn't dodge a question. I will answer also your question. The more risk I see nowadays is security. I mean, it became...
Like data security?
No,
building
like
security?
attacks, DDoS attacks on the system, people trying to blackmail you, cybersecurity, exactly. So this is the #1 business nowadays, and we have seen many cases of it, and you need to be extremely protected on that part, because They can do a reputational damage, they can bring your systems down, and they can also essentially steal money from you, because on the CRMs you have PSPs connected, you have banks, you have everything. So now, right now, I would say cybersecurity is number one.
How do you sleep at night, mate? Look at him smile. I was just thinking, like, he must have a great risk management team or something, because look, he's just relaxed. Like, he's actually a target customer of ours, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, why haven't they signed it? You know, what do I have to do? Oh, okay, so sorry. Just one thing I got to finish on Valantis, and I'm going to drag you back to the question, because that is a threat. Yeah, that's a threat. And I was like, what's the vulnerability? So you have threats, like cyber attacks, and vulnerabilities are like soft spots in your business. You know, where's the attacker is looking for a vulnerability. So I'm asking, what's the biggest vulnerability, do you think, in your organization? Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes, I mean, taking it a little bit deeper, then this is the identification of the threats, yeah? To find your vulnerabilities. I mean, this is where you have to choose the right partners on all the aspects of your business to not have too many vulnerabilities, but at the same time not exposing yourself. And I would say, yeah, cybersecurity is the number, because the technology is running so fast, you're never able to catch up to it, and you need to be extremely careful. So I will keep on the cyber side.
Stick with your answer.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I agree with most of the risks, but from my experience, the biggest vulnerability is people. I don't know what you think. I will say. I say that that people really don't care, to be honest. I mean, the primary problem is people don't know how to mitigate risk, how to do it, how to quantify risk, etc. But why don't they know it? It's available on the internet. You can find it. But nobody cares because nobody has the downside from the risk. Even the biggest banks with their biggest math models, they get from time to time bailed out with taxpayer money, right? They don't risk anything, right? So they can have any models in their Excels, and whatever happens, they just get free money again, right? And even like the brokers, right? The biggest strategy I've seen used in brokers is like praying to God, because praying to God. Because looking at the risk models that they're using, like some really intelligent guy goes like every hour, gets the report from like MetaTrader, puts into his Excel and finding like the results from the multiplication of some numbers. Like this is like literally expecting God to keep you away from risk, right? So this is the biggest thing. And have you tried to sell like risk management to a broker? It's a tough sell. I don't know if it's a tough sell for you, for us.
I've been working, you know, the first time I went to GBE and I did a demo long before you worked there. Man, it's hard, you know, you just go in there and you're just like, look at this stuff. Like my business partner and I, we spent many years coding this stuff, and it's amazing. And still, they didn't buy it. So I know it's a tough sell.
I mean, it is tough because people, like, especially with financial risk, right? It's technically called like fat tail risk. So small losses happen much rarer than you would expect, and huge losses happen much more often than you would expect. And as a result, usually brokers don't need any risk management until it hits them. And at that point, they just bankrupt the company, open another one, hire some other people or the same ones, and attract new people, right? So this is, I think this is the main vulnerability in the industry, because people don't really care that much about that risk. Yeah, it would be nice to get a tool and it will show you like, do this, do that, but it does not really work that way in many ways. You have to be very vigilant all the time and understand what are the downsides of things. And I mean, but nobody really cares that much to go that deep, I think.
I should have shut up a long time ago, because that's like the most intuitive, or not intuitive, what's the right word, inspirational kind of thing about risk management I've heard in a long time. Thank you so much. I was going to ask for, you look like you're ready to speak, but let me just ask, since we just asked that question to the audience, we didn't plan this, but you want to vote on like who gave the best answer to that question? So you want to start with, I know it's putting everybody on the spot. Put your hands up. Who's voting for?
David.
David. You're David?
No, you're David.
Oh.
I'm David.
Oh. Yes, I did my homework before I came here. Like, I just actually, my brain does not work very well, and I forget stuff super fast. David, hands up. Oh, thank you. What?
What are we voting for? Thank you for the vote.
All right, I'm not going to count. It's just kind of a fun exercise. I don't really care who's the best one. Next. The insurance man gets appreciation. Finally, it's a thankless job selling insurance, I tell you what.
Not a hot topic.
And Valantis. It's our head. Oh, very popular. And finally, Timur. Oh. Did I bias that by telling him it was like one of the best answers I'd ever heard? Anyway, whatever. Look at him blush, man. Oh man, I'm just thinking like, how much does your employer pay you, and can you want to come and work with us? Like that's.
I am the employer.
What?
I am the employer.
I wish you all the success.
Well, we can work together.
Okay, we can work together. Good. Let me think. Come on in, guys, or shut the door or something, please. You can come in. There's the room. It gets cozy. These little plenty room. Okay. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah.
You want some? Yeah.
I think that to the 2 points you raised before about people and technology, I think that look, every company today invests massively in cybersecurity, in business processes, in infrastructure, monitoring. I mean, this is the basics for any technology company today. When you talk about the vulnerability, I quite like what Timur said. The biggest vulnerability is people. And I tend to agree, and I think on a slightly different point, but in the same vein. People don't take security seriously, which is the same point. Now, the reality from the vulnerability perspective is social engineering is a huge way for threats to be actualized. So so when we first started in this industry, like say 13 years ago, the biggest threats were DDoS attacks. Systems can be brought down with over flooding of access to your system. But technology very easily gets over that today. I mean, yeah, you've got to be a bit creative, but you can get past that. Also, from a cybersecurity perspective, yes, you can put in all the firewalls and all the routing, all the monitoring and everything you need in order to avoid, let's say, technological cyber attacks. The area of most vulnerability seems at the moment, whereby I read before, like 20% of the cyber attacks last year in 2022 were down to social engineering. And that is, I say again, it's the mindset. So the reality of security, again, it's all about your mindset. So training your staff to be cognizant of and thinking about it all the time, making sure that your business processes are set up such that your team don't have access to information that they don't need, making sure that your team don't have access to be able to do certain actions within inside the system they shouldn't need to. So really locking down as much as possible. I suppose that's at a business process perspective, and education to all staff about the importance and the way to work. So not leaving any passwords on the side or anything, but really being very vigilant with any information that's being sent to you, emails, SMSs. This is really, so it sounds silly, so much is spent on cybersecurity in a year when you spend huge amounts on securing the systems, but it's the most basic and silly thing that can actually expose you. So I would say definitely people and definitely technology are the vulnerabilities. Education and mindset is the approach to really think.
Apathy. That's the word. Right.
What I usually say to my team, just to add to what you just said, is risk will hit you when you're getting the most comfortable. As soon as you just start getting comfortable that I have done everything, and you think, okay, I did everything perfect, then that's the time when it will bite you.
Exactly what you said before, that you can have everything in place, but it's what you're scared of what you don't know. What you know is never the problem. Okay, you've done everything you can, you've done everything, but the person, if you're really on the ball, you're scared of what you don't know. And you say complacency really is that point of oh, I know everything now. Okay, no, that's the point where we need to think even more. Okay, where do I need to be analysing more? Who do I need to be educating more? Where do we need to be closing down our system even more? So yeah, agreed.
And that's what I meant earlier with residual risk. No matter what you do, there's always there. And for that off chance, you might as well, offload that risk to somebody else. It's a very low probability, high impact event that you would be insuring. You don't want to insure everything under the sun. It's not cost effective. It doesn't make sense, and you probably look reckless. You don't take risk management seriously, so you buy all kinds of insurances. No, that's not the point.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever's that small.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's a.
I think as well is being slow. I think that this industry and technology these days is so fast, and especially where in this industry where time is money, you want everything to be done immediately. Keep going. Actually, from a security and a threat and a vulnerability perspective, just slowing down a little bit, just thinking, okay, so you can't do everything immediately. It requires a bit more planning. The planning is necessary to reduce threat, to reduce risk. So really being cognizant about these things, I think, is key here as well.
Okay, last question, really quick one. If we did not discuss AI and ChatGPT and all those things, I think we'd be negligent. And I think everybody probably thought that's what we were going to talk about the whole time. But what do you think the impact on each one of you? And you've only got 30 seconds each. So please begin. We'll start with you last time. So
Okay. I think the main result will be that the jobs that are bullshit jobs will obviously be seen as bullshit jobs. Like if you need to make a 5-pager of some information, you just put it into ChatGPT, your management is happy. And so I think the less valuable job that people do will become even less valuable. And this will make more valuable job and more important and rare things more expensive and more sought at. I think so.
Perfect. And you didn't use up too much time. Thank you.
Thank you.
30 seconds.
I will try keep it short as well. I mean, I see ChatGPT as a support tool. It just kicked in, but I think it has a lot of potential. We don't know where it will lead. It can create more risk as well, especially when you're using it for support or when you give it the authority to make decisions for you. That's where I would think it should be overseen. So I will see it more as a support at the moment.
I agree. It has a lot of potential to enhance, products and services. I would be worried that it replaces critical thinking. There are some situations where you need to have another perspective, not the machine telling you what's up. So I would be wary of that.
Say that again. Replace critical thinking.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. I have seen that many times. Yeah.
You like that answer, right?
I like
Let's vote for that. Okay. Well, okay. With next vote, whoever votes the most will get a hit flask. Booth 34. Okay. Booth 34. Okay. Look, from an AI perspective, as they say, it's a double-edged sword. It can give the most amazing things to humanity and civilization and to businesses. On the flip side, we need to be cautious about what it's really, where it can lead to. Now everybody wants to jump on and understand how it can enhance the business. I think that if you're not using AI, you're way behind. Okay, so everybody's got to be using AI in some way. So ChatGPT, you have to be using it. You have to be using it. You've got to understand it. You need to learn it. You need to see how it can help in your business. You've got to be on it. I think that you need to be, as I said before, you need to be educated though. But you can only be educated with knowledge. So you need to know how it works, what it does, so that you can train your teams exactly what you should and shouldn't be doing, because everyone's got access to it. Everybody's using it, and if you're not using it, you should be. But I think, again, go back to the points we said before, again, educating your teams properly how to be using it, educating yourselves what it does, and understanding that people are your vulnerability, but yet AI is definitely...
The lady in the back wants us to finish up. She's kind of giving me the signal. Time's up. Wow. To tell you the truth, I sort of had a low expectation of today's event, and I've just been incredibly well surprised. Thank you guys so much.
Pleasure, it's
really
pleasure.
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you, David.
Thank you very much. Thank you.